This video is to demonstrate how to install a brand new tube saddle with a standard duty tube into an 18-inch rear tire. Currently I have one bead of the tire on, have the rim lock in and the rim lock nut is loosely tightened on. And let's proceed. I've already put baby powder inside the tire. I got a ample supply of baby powder on my inner tube. First line up to where my valve stem hole, which is right here. And I start with the valve stem, putting in a portion of the inner tube about halfway around the tire inside. Okay, now I take my new tube saddle, which I've also sprinkled with a lot of baby powder, and I find the valve stem hole in the tube saddle, and I put the valve stem of the inner tube through. Now you want to start folding the tube saddle at the valve stem like a taco, and start feeding it underneath the bead of the tire and into the rim. And you want to start working it around from where the valve stem is. Just partially getting it in. Okay, because I don't have it all the way in, we don't worry about this end, this will work its way out in a minute, is I can spin the rim a little bit to line the valve stem with the hole in the rim. Now I'm going to rotate this thing around. I'm going to put the valve stem through the hole, and then we just need to get the nut started on the valve stem. Okay, I got it to go in. Okay, so we got the nut on to assure the valve stem won't pull back. Now as we're feeding the rest of it in, at your rim lock, you want to make sure you get the tube saddle centered in that rim, over the rim lock as best as possible, so the sides of the tube saddle are evenly placed, going over the bead of the tire on both sides. I'm going to pull the inner tube, get it behind the tube saddle, and I'm pushing it in. I'm checking the valve stem, or excuse me, the rim lock, to make sure I got the tube saddle centered as best I possibly can. That looks really good. And now I'm going to continue with the rest of the process. Now this appears like there's too much material. That's why I have the installation video, for you to see that it really isn't, because the tubes actually stretch a little bit like rubber bands. Again, folding it, pushing it in, folding it, and pushing it in. And the neat thing here is you put down pressure on your tire and the tube saddle will pop over the rim. and it's in. So now, like you normally do, you can lube up your bead, do the final bead of the tire. You're going to need to tighten the valve stem nut pretty tight so you can get the air to go into the tire, and pressurize it to get the beads to seat. Then tighten your rim lock and tighten it really tight, because you do not want the tire spinning on the rims, particularly if you're running lower tire pressure. And then reduce the pressure down to the pressure you want to run, and you're good to go. And I also recommend just keep an eye on your valve stem when you first start riding. If it tends to start tilting on you, your rim lock needs to be replaced. It's not biting on the bead of the tire, or it's just simply not tightened enough.